kills me. I love her.
All right, let's go. What's good? What's good? What's good? You two in Apartment 5B, hosted by your man Kill. Squad in effect as always. Always ladies first. Little sis Porsche, what's going on, miss?
Not a whole lot, Kill. How are you?
Everything is good. Everything is good. No complaints. My man Eddie out of LA. What's going on, good brother?
Yo, man, I'm doing good, man. As good as I can be.
All right, no doubt. Vern, I think by his garb you could tell where he's at, where he's from. There you go. We already know. DJ Rec 1, now out of St. Louis. Ain't in Houston no more. Out in St. Louis. Y'all ain't even got a real ball team out there, bro.
Yo,
man, I'm sorry.
hurting, man. You can't even go watch the game, and I got to drive 4 hours to Chicago, man.
Oh, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. And I got my man. He's been on here before. This is my brother, Low aficionado, Jordan aficionado, bearded brother from Philly. Been down since 92 at Morgan State. My man James, what's going on, good brother?
Indeed. I'm chilling, man.
All right, good to have you on here with us again. Y'all already know it is with me. Let's jump right into it. Today we are doing one of our salute shows. If you tune in with us, you know at least once a month, once every other month, we do a salute show, give flowers to folk while they're still here, so we're not those people when somebody passes away, then you want to shout them out all day like that for the next 24 hours. Today we are saluting the Dungeon family. Okay, so we talking Goody, Outkast, Cool Breeze, everybody out the Dungeon. You already see I got the Cast shirt on with the Stankonia joint right there. You see Vern got the Cast Atlanta Hawks joint on. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be shouting it out about. First time we heard Dungeon, our favorite Outkast songs, Goody Mob songs. Who's the most slept on MC in the Dungeon? Because we always hear about who's the dopest, which is always 9 times out of 10 gonna be 3000. But who's the slept on one? Top 5 organized beats, and a couple of questions here and there, about everything. So Porsche, why don't we set it off with you? As always, ladies first. When's the first time you heard about the Dungeon? When's the first time you heard anything about them?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of late. I didn't hear about Dungeon Family until I actually took a trip to Arizona with met up with a lot of friends, and Aquemini had dropped just a couple months prior to that trip. So we were all on this Aquemini thing, and it was only then, like, I'm not huge on production. I don't know, like, I know you guys are all really huge on production, like who sampled this from where and all these kinds of things. I just love the albums. So I'm not really like, it wasn't until later that I got into the who produced this, who's so dope on these beats kind of thing. So for me, Dungeon Family, I learned about them when Aquemini dropped. That was when I was kind of like, okay, wait a minute. Like, who is lacing them with all of these, these beats, and like who's doing their production work? And that's when I kind of learned about the Dungeon Family. So I wish I could say that I knew them from jump, but unfortunately I was kind of late to the show. So, but better late than never. So.
All right, no doubt. Jace, what about you? For people who don't know, I love this bro right here. This dude has been there for me so many times throughout the game of life. But the thing that I loved about Jace is when we was at Morgan in 92, 91, 92, every other week I'd be like, Jace, what you doing this weekend? Like, most people be like, yo, we chilling, we going to Philly for the weekend. This nigga was in Atlanta every weekend. Like, every weekend this dude had a plane ticket to Atlanta. Like, it was like, I'm going to Atlanta. I'm like, bro, you just came from Atlanta. So this dude, Jace, what about you, man? Because you was probably there when the damn dungeon got built. When was the first time you heard about the Dungeon Family and everything like that?
All right, so I was in Atlanta for good reason. My best friend went to Morehouse, my girlfriend went to Spelman, so I had free plane tickets and a car, so I found a way. So, but I wasn't just going down there just to go. So, probably the first time I had ever heard of, I had heard of Outkast first. A girlfriend of mine at the time was working at Patchwork Studio, and she had Outkast demo for Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music. And first time I heard of Dungeon was I was probably at a club. It was probably like the Phoenix or something down there, and they were in there, and they were like shouting them out. It was like, who the hell is Dungeon Family? And a couple of my boys were like, "Yeah, that's Outkast crew." It's a bunch of them. I'm like, "Word? Okay, cool." And then after that, I just started hearing more and more music from them. So that was the first time.
All right, no doubt, no doubt. Rec, what about you, good brother? When's the first time you heard about Dungeon Family, everything out the A like that?
I would probably say the second album. The first album, I just knew it was funky. I didn't know there was a whole situation attached to it. I knew it was different, and I knew I liked it. But the second album is when I started hearing about Dungeon Family. I think they were on either Yo MTV Raps or Rap City, and they had went to the house, and I was just like, okay, so this is the production part of who they keep talking about. But that's what I found out. I would say if that was maybe 96, 97, a couple years after the first album dropped.
Mm-hmm. All right, no doubt, no doubt. What about you, Eddie?
Probably, you know, I kind of missed the boat on the first Outkast album. Like, I probably heard Players Ball, you know, and Players Ball at the time, you know, I was really into New York stuff, you know, that sound. So it didn't hit me. Now I hear it, I'm like, man, that was amazing. But the first Dungeon Family song I remember that everyone was like, yo, was Cell Therapy, right? That was 95, right? That was before ATLiens dropped. So that was my first time hearing them. And then when ATLiens came out, like when we heard Elevators, we were just losing our minds, man. So
right. All right, no doubt. And Vern, you being from the A, I know you got backstories with the Dungeon. So why don't you talk about the first time you heard about the Dungeon?
The first time I would have to go back to PA. PA had a song on the CB4 soundtrack called Lifeline. Went to school with KP Kawan Prather, and my boys knew that Rico and Pat and Ray had produced that. So that was the first time. But as far as Dungeon, I always told the story. So we was trying to get on, and we went to the original Dungeon because Rico knew my boys, and you know, they listened to our stuff. But he was playing something in the background, and we was like, man, what is that? Yeah, this little group we working on. You know, matter of fact, they got a showcase this Friday. Y'all need to come through. And of course, that little group was Outkast. So that was the first time before Outkast got signed, I knew about the Dungeon.
All right, that's what's up. And for me, it was definitely, you know, with Southern Playalistic, I know it was The Source. They had I remember this. They had an interview with them because I remember I had it. It was until my mother redid my whole bedroom in Philly, which I'm still salty about. I had the poster of them, it was a picture of Rico, Sleepy, and Ray in the Dungeon. You know what I mean? The Source had a little drawing out. I ripped it out, put it on my wall. So that was the first time I heard the Dungeon with Southern Playalistics. And just like you said, Eddie, it was something different. It was just Players Ball, I loved it. Southern Playalistics, I loved it. Get Up, Get Out, loved it. It was everything they just kept hitting me with, you know, I just loved it. You know what I mean? And like I said, the only people who were on my wall back at home, I had my ASR in my bedroom, and it was just producers I respected. So you had Pete, you know, Preem, you know, and Organized Noise was up there. You know what I mean? So that's just a small testament to how quickly I picked up on their sound that they got put on the wall with Preem and Pete and Tip and Buck Wild and all the other producers who I was respecting at the time. So that was it. All right, let's jump right into it. Top 3 Outkast songs and why. Porsche, what you got? What's your top 3 favorite Outkast songs?
So just name all 3 of them?
Name all 3 of them.
Okay, I got Skewed on the Barbie, Players Ball, and I'll say Rosa Parks. But I have again, you know how I am with these hard lists that you always make us do. I've got 15 in my top 3. So I'll just say those 3. I absolutely love them. I mean, it's just Outkast is just something else. They're just the most innovative, in my opinion. They're so innovative. They're so unique. They're so complimentary, Andre and Big Boy. The production is just seamless all the time, regardless of who does it. It just fits. So these 3 songs, in my opinion, they're not only are they fun, but they capture. And I've said this on previous episodes. Like, I feel like Outkast knows exactly how to capture their region and really bring that sound to the audience.
Yes.
So you don't necessarily have to be from the South, but you can tell that is like Southern culture through and through. Like, it just hits you in a way that other groups don't. Like, it's kind of like how Mobb Deep was able to capture like New York grime, or like Wu-Tang was, Outkast was able to, with obviously organized noise, they were able to just capture what the South is. It's like a feeling, and I can't explain it any other way, but those 3 tracks to me are they just beam with that Southern culture that you just love. So
all right, no doubt. Jace, what about you, good brother? What's your top 3 cast joints?
Top 3 is probably say Elevators, Hootie Hoo, and Aquemini.
Okay. And why you pick those 3, bro?
Beats and the rhymes. I mean, shit. Nobody's coming like that.
Right.
Nobody sounded like that. Their sonics weren't like that. Like,
yeah, it's funny, man. With Elevators, it's like that's one of those songs that I remember. I was on Lincoln Drive in Philly when somebody played that on the radio, and it was just like, yo, what the fuck? Like, and then when I heard Andre's second verse, it was like, oh my God, just if you don't eat, move your feet, then I don't eat. So we like neck to neck. It's like, ooh, like what is like? It's almost that feeling. I had the same feeling when I heard Tribes Award Tour. You know what I mean? I remember you remember Drew from Jersey. Me, Drew, Monica, and Taj was out Lancaster shopping at the outlets at the Tim Polo outlet. And they played that on the radio. They played Award Tour on the radio. And it was just like, when you think that a group is so dope, they can't get no doper. You know what I mean? It was like, you hear Award Tour, it's like, oh shit. Like, I didn't think these niggas could come harder than, Low End Theory, and I'm hearing, you listen to Playalistics, which to me is a 5-mic album, and it's like, you can't get no doper than this. Then you heard Elevators, you were just like, God damn, you know what I mean? And so now I feel you 100% on that. What's up, Vern?
Hey, Portia, you will appreciate this. So we in VIP at the Cotton Club, me and my boys, and with Tupac. Hootie Hoo comes on, Tupac loses his mind, and then he see Dre. Get up in here, man. It was love, man. And that's like, we already knew, but we knew then, man. Yeah.
Pac is a genius. I mean, he would know. He would know. He would react that way.
Pac would know.
He would.
Another dope call on Hootie Hoo, because I don't hear a lot of people talk about that joint like that. And that's an anthem right there to me. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? I think to me, and we'll talk about this, but to me, Outkast can fall into that Prince category where you can be a fan because they got so many big songs that you could say you're a fan and never even heard an album yet. You know what I mean? So Hootie Hoo, is definitely a dope pick. Eddie, what about you? What's your top 3 cast joints?
Man, it's like Portia said, man, I have like 10 that could have been in my top 3, but so I'm going with AT Aliens, the title track. I just love Big Boy's verse, like his opening verse on that is one of my favorite from him. Like the whole cooler than a polar bear's toenails line and all that.
There you go again, talking that shit. Yep.
Yeah, love that joint. Then keeping on the theme of title tracks, Aquemini title track. Like, I love that slow build of it, and the hook is just like mesmerizing, and their verses, like the whole thing is just great. I love it. And then want to say like the third verse when they bring it back and Big Boy comes in, and then Andre first, like just crazy, man. And then I gotta go with Spody Odie Dopalicious. I gotta, man. It's crazy, man. They like, are they even rhyming on that song? Like, But it doesn't matter. It does not matter, man. It's like you throw that on and just start cruising.
Mhm.
It's a whole vibe, man.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a dope thing. What about you, Rack?
First and foremost, I'm mad that we only are doing 3. So, Kill, you're on my shit list tonight.
Here's the hard part, bro. Here's the hard part. I had to try to figure out a way because I know we're a very diverse crew, but I feel like with the dungeon, I feel like so much is gonna be cast. You know what I mean? And I wanted this to be a dungeon salute, so not just the Outcast salute show. You know, so I feel like not saying people don't love Goody and different people like that, but I just wanted to give the whole crew love and not just Outcast, because I felt like this could have turned it. This very well could have been an all Outcast show, truth be told. You know what I mean? And I wanted to try to stay away from that. So, and again, these are just your top 3 songs today. Maybe we do another show in next month and you got another 3. You know what I mean? So
you still on my shit list. It's okay.
I get it. I understand. I'm always on push your shit list. That's just part of my job, man. I'm on everybody's shit list.
I got you. All right, so I just sat here and checked them off. Benzor Bima, 94.
Ooh, off that New Jersey Drive
soundtrack. That shit sounded like nothing I'd ever heard, period. It was East Coast, but it was Southern. And it had that 808, and you was just like,
Yo, and the way the God's Effects Benzor Bima.
Yes, it was perfect. And then
JC, this is the stuff you probably don't remember. I think we was in your car when we heard that. When I heard it for the first time.
Probably.
I think we was in your car when we heard that for the first time on New Jersey Drive soundtrack.
It was crazy. Then they dropped the video.
Yeah.
They are very good for dropping visuals with the song.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite 3000 verses. When you I hear a voice in the back of the Martin Parker lot, I hear a voice saying, "Andre, stop." But do I stop? No.
Man. That thing was crazy. All right, next one. Players Ball, the reprise though. If I'm playing, chances are you're gonna hear me bring the reprise in over the original.
Yeah.
The reprise, that thing, you just got to sit back. If you don't smoke weed, you're gonna smoke weed. Listen to that shit. That thing is just smooth. It's funky and it's Outkast. It's Outkast. If Outkast had a logo outside of what Vern is wearing, it would have, the Players Ball somewhere attached to it. It's just dope.
Mm-hmm.
And then mainstream.
Okay.
I think it's an unspoken track that people don't really talk about on the album. It's a banger, and it's one of my favorites. That joint had me straight from Jersey all the way to Virginia, riding down 95 to 85. So one of my favorites.
That's dope. Vern, what about you, good brother?
First of all, I want to thank Eddie for naming Spardio Dopalicious, because now I could talk about 4 and only name 3. So let me just talk about the Eddie pick, not me, Eddie pick. The first time I stayed out all night, I remember going to Crystal's on Old National at 6, 7 in the morning to get breakfast. We went to Charles Disco and Lounge on Simpson Road, and that's what Stax was talking about when he ran down the scene and everything. And when he talked about who else want to mess with Hollywood Coke, my nigga Derek was messing with a girl at Hollywood Court, and my dumb butt rode the martyr with him to Hollywood Court. Hollywood Court is on Gun Club Road, so that should tell you. Off of Bankhead on Gun Club Road, nigga. What?
Not where you want it at all.
That ain't where you should have been.
Nigga, that sound like that. That sound like that spot in Training Day with Lonzo, like you in the jungle.
That's what it looked like, and it felt like that too. But okay,
sound like they made that up for the Boondocks or something.
All right, so I'm gonna name Claiming True off of Southern Playalistic. That organ and that bass. Shout out to Preston Crump.
Preston Crump,
man, come on.
One of the illest bass players in the game.
Come on, man. That organ comes in. It's got that Southern, and I'm using Porsche's criteria because it's so true. It's just because I talked about PA before. Rico and them, y'all should check out.
For a second, break down who PA is.
Parental Advisory. That's the first production credit that Organized got with Mello, Kawan Praise. I forget the other brother's name, but that's their first taste. And on Combat Jack, Rico talks about all right, we tried to be kind of New York-ish, and it didn't pop. So with Outkast, we was like, man, screw that. We finna be us. You ain't hear no hip hop with Wurlitz or Hammond B3 organs and all that sap, that soul. So that one, I'm gonna pick another one off of some playlisted. Call of the Wild.
Yeah.
That bass line.
Yeah, it's right here.
Just crazy dumb. And then I'm gonna pick this one because before Rico and Dallas and all them really got Atlanta popping, we was Booty Shake, 808, Sade, Kizzy Rock, all that. So Bomb Over Bad Dad brings out that crazy thing. And dog, if y'all ever want to see me get goosebumps, my baby sister bought me tickets as my birthday present because she said I introduced her to hip hop when Outkast came back to Atlanta for their reunion tour, whatever. Go on YouTube and you can see the interest because they started every show with this. Man, when bruh, I mean the crowd just it's pandemonium, man, and I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. You know, that song right there is Atlanta, and it's unadulterated Atlanta because again, we yeet. I mean, that's what we did down here, man. And so Outkast embody all of Atlanta, and we was like, man, skip trying to be from the West Coast, from New York or whatever. We Atlanta, nigga. And so I'm gonna pick those three.
All right, no doubt. I'm right there with Rap with the remix to Players Ball, bro. I don't even listen to the original Players Ball like that. Like if it ain't the remix, I don't even listen to the joint like that. And I love the original Players Ball. Like that's one of them songs. I think we did a show with songs that didn't need to be remixed. Players Ball didn't need to be remixed, but you know they outdid themselves on that. Another one, one of my favorites, Jazzy Bell. Man, I love the production. The drums, I love how the third verse comes in with 3000, and it's so fresh, so clean. You know what I mean? Which is just and again, I forgot who said it about the visuals that come. I think it was Rec who said the visuals that come with it, like just like the whole video, like they getting ready to go to the club and then they end up at church. You know what I mean? And Big Boy killed all the verses. And 3000 don't even really rhyme on it. He just at the end, you know what I mean? But that was like Big Boy just on his dolo joint, going at it. So let's talk about Cash for a minute. I feel like, and I want to know how y'all feel. I think 3000 is an incredible MC. But I also think people treat Big Boy like he just the nigga to steal on or some shit like that. Like this dude don't got, in my opinion, what is this joint right here? This joint right here, and I know people really won't agree. This to me is 5 mics. I listen to Sir Lucius Left Foot. I love this joint. This joint right here, I love too. It may not be, it may be 4 and a pass on a great day, but I mean, Big Boy has put out 3 solid solo albums to prove he can do it himself. It's crazy when I hear this. And I'll say slander because y'all know I don't usually say that word a lot, but it's slander because Big can do everything. You want him to rhyme at 138 beats per minute, he can do that and not miss a step. You want him to rhyme crazy slow, he can do that and not miss a step. You want him to get on a remix with Missy over here, he can. I don't know if Big has missed in all of these years. You know what I mean? Whether it's on the track. And the thing that I'm always telling people is like, cool, 3000 may be your GOAT, but y'all act like Big wasn't right there with him. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you may prefer 3000 and 3000's verse may have been a 5 mic, but don't act like Big was some 2 mic, like this nigga was Fat Joe on Flo Joe. You know what I mean? So, like, let me know what y'all like. Porsche, do you not long-winded, but how do you feel about that? Because I see it on the timeline every day. It's like, it's never an Outkast. It's like 3000 that other nigga over there. What do you think about Big?
I love Big Boy. I think that, like for me specifically, I think that, and I mention this all the time, Big Boy and Andre are the most complimentary duo, I think maybe ever. And I say that because I look at people like, Meth and Red and like, people who are very complimentary and they're great together, but Big Boy and Andre are this perfect balance that they bring something, each one brings something different, and it complements the other perfectly to shine that strength. So while Andre may be a little bit more, I don't know what the word is, maybe like eccentric or a little bit out there. A Big Boy is going to be that more, something a little bit more traditional, I want to say, in a way, or something that would like kind of appeal to a different audience. So they're able to do that. Like, it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't think that without Big Boy, I don't think that Andre would be as revered as he is, to be very honest. Sorry.
No,
I was agreeing.
Okay. Yeah, like I just think that it's because of Big Boy that everyone just is so towards Andre, and it's so weird because I'm with you, Kill. I think Big Boy has put out consistently incredible albums. That Sir Lucius album is easily 5 mics, and that's without even like hesitation. So. And then you hear people say, well, Andre's my GOAT. I know he doesn't have a solo joint, but we'll pretend like, that double album, that one's his solo joint, but you're completely disregarding the fact that Big Boy has several. He's got more than one, and it didn't have to be on a double to get there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what's your criteria then? Like, are you just, I honestly think it's some misdirected hate, to be honest. I just cannot understand why people are so hard on Big Boy. He's incredible.
Right. I always tell folk, Dre may be the better lyricist, but I'd rather hang out with Big any fucking day. Like, I have no urge to hang with Andre and play flutes, walking around little 5 points. I'd rather hang out with Big all day.
But maybe somebody else can explain, like, what would make Andre a better lyricist? Like, what is that, like, on what, where? Like, not that he's not, but I'm just saying, like, if anything, I would say, Big Boy's kind of proven himself with these, so like he can carry an album and he can carry it very well, right?
Right. And I'm not mad at that. I'm just mad at what I feel like it's like that is Dre and that other nigga over there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like when I listen to the Artist Storytelling Part 3, why we in the club, you don't make it precipitate. You mean make it rain when you can make a thunderstorm? Like, to me, 3000 may be wittier with the rhymes. Right. Like, if you ask me whose rhyme do I prefer in Return of the Gangsta, I'm gonna tell you 3000's, but that's no knock on Dre. You know what I mean? It's like, who's the better player on the Lakers, LeBron or Anthony? LeBron, but that doesn't mean Anthony Davis is just that nigga over there. Like their combination. Eddie, what do you think about? Do you think that Big deserves his props? Do you think he is that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like they say, it's the player and the poet, it's like a yin yang, dynamic. I think if you ask who's the best pure rhymer, is Big Boy, hands down. Big Boy is the best pure rhymer. Andre is, like he's poetic. Like, he has a way of putting his words together that it's just different, and I think that's what kind of stands out to people. But if you talk about just rhyming and bars, like Big Boy got bars. Like, Big Boy got a hell of a lot of quotables too, and it's funny because in a way it would be similar to the praise that Q-Tip got for Tribe and Phife, even though Phife had all the quotables, really. I mean, I find myself quoting more Phife lines, for Tribe, but then, I think Q-Tip was more like the headliner, so to speak. I think it's definitely closer with Andre and Big Boy. I think there's a preference,
That's all.
But it's really hard to say one is definitively better than the other. I think it's just a popular opinion that has kind of taken over, and of course the young kids, they kind of run with it, like because if to your point, Kill, if Andre 3000 could be considered a GOAT, Big Boy was right there carrying them Outkast albums along with him. He had the better solo album in that Outkast double album, Speaker Box Love Below. I mean, right? I mean, I think most people that I've talked to prefer the Speaker Box as a body of work, and then his other solo albums. Andre 3000 doesn't have any solo albums, so why not give why not give Big Boy his flowers? I don't get it.
Right. What about you, Jace? What you think? Big is dope.
Yeah, no, he's definitely dope. He definitely did his thing. But I think Andre kind of got his more focus on him because he actually did songs with other people. Like I can't in my mind, I was just thinking while you was talking, I can't remember any features with Big Boy on that come to my mind.
It's almost like what Eddie was saying about Tip. Like when you think about Tip, I just made a mixtape of all Tip's guest verses. Whereas with Phife, the only thing I remember him being on was La Smooth. You know what I mean? So it's like, Tip had all these guest verses from everybody from Delight to Janet Jackson to around the time if you was rhyming, you wanted Tip on your joint. You know what I mean? Whereas with Phife, that nigga's on La Smooth, and that's it.
So La Smooth was tight, man. Stop it. There's gonna be no Fruits niggas slander tonight, man.
I'm just saying, y'all both in the same group that's heralded as one of the greatest groups ever. But one of them has, 100 guest features, and the other person in the same group got one. And it's what Jason's saying, like, yo, 3000 got he on Beyonce, he here, he there, and then Dre got, Big Boy got like Missy. But I'm sorry, Jason, will you finish?
And I think another thing is like the juxtaposition of their personalities. Like people say, like Dre is a weirdo and all this kind of stuff. But if you live in Atlanta, have you ever seen Big Boy out?
There it is.
All right. Okay. Well, I was saying that to say, like, I've been places out the way. Like I saw Dre 3 times in one day in Philly. Just walking around. I've been in like London, in Notting Hill, walking down Portobello Road, and this dude's like walking like down the street by himself in the middle of London. Like I've seen him in the airport by himself. I've never seen Big Boy anywhere. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, to me, it was kind of funny. Like they think he's the weirdo, but I kind of feel like Big Boy's more of a homebody.
That may be it too. That may be it too.
Another reason is Big. I mean, Big references it, and I forget which rhyme it is. Big ain't out there because he's watching out for fools trying to jank him. And I remember he was following 3 Stacks. I forget which rhyme it is because somebody was about to try to jack him, but he was following him. So Big is more under, head on a swivel. 3 Stacks is more, oh man, everybody love me. Nah, and they really don't.
Yeah.
And I think 3000, he just got that free spirit. Like that nigga's like, yo, I'm gonna fucking play a flute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just play a flute. Walking down the street.
Yeah, walking down the
speaking
airport,
of which,
gate to gate, like
right.
my flute.
Right.
Have you guys
what
seen
about
that Key and Peele skit? That Key and Peele skit about Andre and Big Boy.
Nah.
Oh, it's hilarious. I'll send it to you guys after the show, man.
Right.
They nailed it.
Right. What about you? Big dope or not? He just that other nigga in the group.
Nah, no. And if you say that, you're not a true fan.
I agree.
Of hip hop.
I agree.
You just y'all said it. It's preference. It's subjective. It's what you prefer. Big Boy is nice. Stop that shit.
Yeah.
Stop that.
Period.
Big Boy is nice. No. I get it. You like one more than the other. I know when people try to put those top 5 lists and they say, well, Andre's on the top 5 list. I'm not even gonna go there, but no. Big Boy's nice.
But
Big Boy's nice.
We don't have to.
I digress. Big Boy's nice.
What happens is, man, people disrespect Big so much that you end up almost throwing shots at Dre when Dre didn't do that. That's just ignorant fans. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Very ignorant fans. Yeah. Big Boy is nice, man. You listen to his verse on Skewed on the Barbie. Shit. I mean, anything. I can say a name on 40 different damn songs. Big Boy is nice. He don't come whack.
And I think it's like Vern said, it's a preference. Because at the end of the day, if we play every Outkast song, I may prefer Dre's verse, but that doesn't take nothing away from Big's verse.
Correct.
And that's the problem. It's like to salute one doesn't mean you got to diss the other. You know what I mean? I like Eric better than I like Parrish, but that didn't mean that Parrish was whacking EPMD. You know, it's just I preferred Eric over Parrish. What about you, Vern? What you got on Big?
I prefer 3 Stacks, but think about it. If I say,
yo, you know, I'm really waiting for you to pull Sleepy out your closet, like on this episode.
Oh God!
Every time you get up and walk away, you come back with something. I'm sitting here like, didn't your jersey just say Cass? Now I say Dun. What the fuck? Like every time
I just flipped it around because we saw Dungeon, and I want to take the shine.
I was like,
yeah, I'm like, God, every time you get up, I'm just waiting for you to come back with a pit bull puppy. Like, yo, I just got this nigga from Pitfall Killers too. Like, I'm just waiting for the Pitfall puppy. I'm gonna pull something else out. You like a fucking magician tonight. Like, you just keep pulling stuff out your closet, bro.
Right.
So Kill is funny. I have 2 on the slept on MCs, and I had one of them as being Big Boy because, like you, I'm sick of people acting like, bro. How can you say that 3 Stacks is, you know, I hold him in high regard, top 10, whatever. But Big carried his weight on all them albums. He was dope. I ain't gonna say he wasn't whack. He was dope. Think about it. The Stacks ain't finna be hanging with nobody who's whack. You had okay. How can I explain? Because it's frustrating.
I see. We're about to give us an SAT analysis out here on what it is.
Is Scottie Pippen Michael Jordan?
No.
Yep.
no.
But he on the top. He made the top 50 all-time NBA team,
That's
right?
a perfect analogy.
Okay, so there we go.
I was thinking the same thing.
There we and then if you listen, Big's growth from Southern Playalistic to Aquemini ATLians, I mean, your ears is whack if you can't hear that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just stop right there. But yeah, stop with that foolishness, man.
It's funny you said that comparing it to ball because I was saying to somebody today, you got a lot of people who just watch Sports Center and watch the highlights and then want to get on the timeline and talk about ball. It's like you ain't even watched the whole game. Like I had to tell niggas, don't tweet at me about Ben Simmons if you ain't watched at least 3 whole Sixer games this year. Because if you just watch the goddamn highlights on Sports Center, he gonna look great. You know what I mean? But so I agree with you 100%.
That's funny about Ben Simmons.
Oh, you know I was gonna get a bit.
Yo, do you remember that one day that I asked? I was like, yo, is Ben Simmons even going to get 20, right? And someone on your timeline was like, look, he had 16 at the half. Guess what he finished the game with? He had 16 at the half. He finished the game with 20, just at 20. I'm like, dude.
Yeah, but I'm not going to let me digress off of Ben. All right, boom. Right. So, and of course, Cass gets all the love, but let's talk about Goody Mob. You know what I mean? We talking about Big not getting the love that he deserves. I feel like Goody Mob doesn't get the respect and the love that they deserve. To me, their first 2 albums, again, first album 5 mic, second mic, you know, for my space play is 4 in the Pos on a great day. I was living in Atlanta when Still Standing dropped, so I think that holds another special place. Being in Atlanta when Dungeon was popping, it's a whole nother vibe that I don't think people would have got, you know, if they would stayed in Philly or stayed up north. But being there when that dropped, and you know, right after I think ATLians dropped first and then that, or vice versa. But like that's all you heard everywhere. And I lived in Decatur. I didn't live in Atlanta. When people say Atlanta, that's like downtown. No, nigga, I lived in Decatur on Glenwood Road. So that's all we heard was. So let's show some love to Goody Mob. Porsche, top 3 Goody Mob joints.
I got Cell Therapy, of course. Then I got Black Ice and Greeny Green. And here's the thing. I remember we did an episode about Cruise a while ago. I think it was like 2 years ago or something. And I remember I didn't give Dungeon Family their just props because of CeeLo. And I kept saying like CeeLo is this like shiny sequence wearing like pop star now. And I went back and I listened to the Goody Mob albums again, and I was like, shit, like I totally forgot that CeeLo is a powerhouse MC. Like he with Goody Mob was just great. So to me, those songs, I mean, the albums in general, but those songs stand out for me. You've got Witch Doctor on Greeny Green. Like Witch Doctor, I'm going to talk about him on my Slept On. Great, like everything. They just, again, sound different than Outkast, but still sound unique in their own way and still like capture that Southern feel that I want from a Southern group. And I love that. I love that about Goody. And I prefer, I mean, Soul Food and Still Standing are dope albums. Both of them are my favorites, but I prefer Still Standing over Soul Food personally. But those are my three. And I cannot, like, I really have to apologize for my comment that episode about Dungeon Fam, because CeeLo is great, and I need to retract my statement. Again, I've done it before, but I'll do it again and every time that I can. So there's that.
No doubt. Everybody, message. It's okay to retract the statement. Y'all don't have to stand on the hill. It's okay to come back. And I remember that episode. He's like, Porsche, just go listen again. He was like, all right. You know what I mean? So definitely salute to you for that. Eddie, what about you? Top 3 Goody Mob joints.
I got to go with Cell Therapy. I got Thought Process with Andre, and like Portia said, Black Ice, Sky High.
Man.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I think Goody Mob was dope. I think the four of them mesh well. I actually think that CeeLo, as dope as CeeLo was, I think he was doper within Goody Mob. They had kind of like this level of consciousness. It's like reality rap. Like you listen, especially on that first album. Everything. It's just really and even when I first heard that album at my age, it was like kind of some of it a little over my head that kind of doesn't hit me the same way as it does now that I'm a grown man, because they were speaking on some real stuff, some real issues, some real situations, which I really appreciated. But I get what I was going to say about CeeLo is, I think he was better in that. You see, you got him on his solo albums, and aside from him doing more singing and stuff, I'm not sure if I want to hear a whole album. There's something about that dynamic that just works. All the 4 different voices and the way they contrast each other.
All right, no doubt. Jace, what about you?
I got Black Ice, Cell Therapy, and my third one would be, I guess, controversial, Get Up and Get Out. To me, that's not an Outkast song. That's a Goody Mob song. I mean, yeah, it was on their album, but it was like,
I was gonna say that.
It was just like, yeah, like that's a Goody Mob song.
Yeah, you can't get mad. I can't get mad at them calls right there, and that's a good call right there. Because Get Up and Get Out, everybody killed that verse. CeeLo set that thing off lovely. You know what I'm saying? I don't recall, man. Please, that's a hip hop. That should have been a source quotable right there in itself. So dope call, Rack. What about you?
I got to say this, man. We had the pleasure of interviewing them late last year before the album dropped. And, we're all fans. But when you get to sit and listen to them talk in a group setting, those are some of the most educated brothers I've ever had the pleasure of sitting in front of from a standpoint of interview type stuff in my life. Eddie, to caveat, they read Behold the Pale Horse before they wrote the album. They got the book from a session they were in with Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes gave them the book. And that was it. They didn't know half of some of that stuff, and they read the book, and then that was it. They said they
you can tell that by listening to the music.
Right. And I was with Eddie. It was a little bit over my head, but my barber at the time always talked about that book, and he would say, "When you ready, I'm gonna give you this book." I turned about 20, and he gave me my copy. So I feel you, because I was just like, okay, I don't know what they're talking about, but I know it's something crazy. All right, so my 3, Sky High, love that joint. Thought Process, and Don't Dance No More. Shout out to my man Lonnie Walker III. His son plays for the Spurs, LW4. That's my college teammate. He's bigger than me, Kill, and this dude to be roughing me off in the layup line. That's his joint. I had to put that on the mixtape for the game. So we come out, Doom, 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 doom. Hitting the lamp line like this. Big ass 6'6" motherfucker getting hyped. That song, we clapped a lot of backboards to that joint, man. Goody Mob had us hyped. And those were one of the songs. I bought that album with him at the record store with me. So shout out to Lonnie, man. But those are my 3 joints, man. Those are my 3 joints. We listened to a lot of Goody Mob at that time.
That's what's up. What about you, Gar?
Well, shout out to you, Jace, because for bringing up what I was gonna say. Goody Mob is dope, and the Dungeon family is dope because everybody contributed to everybody's success. Okay, you ain't out yet. We're gonna use that song right there on this one, and it's gonna be popping, and you're gonna get heard on this one. So when your joint come out, you can say, yeah, blah blah blah. So shout out for that. Since everybody said cell therapy, thought process, Black Ice, I'm gonna go with a song that I get pissed off that people don't talk about on Mother's Day. Guess who? Bro, that is a dope, celebration about your mom. So I'm gonna go with that one. I'm gonna go Get Rich to This because it's just fun.
Yeah.
200 on the highways.
Get rich to this.
Say. And then this is one that nobody would ever say, but they had did an album, Age Against the Machine, and I love that song, Special Education. Gil and Timo shined like especially Timo shined.
What joint is this, Var?
It's called Special. They had an album called Age Against the Machine.
Yeah.
Janelle Monáe sings the hook. It's when CeeLo was on The Voice. They performed it then. It's called Special Education. It's very dope. So I'm gonna just pick those 3 since the other ones, everybody said.
All right, no doubt. I'm in line with everybody else. Cell Therapy, I think, is one of the dopest piano samples in hip hop. Top 10 piano sample. I mean, when that joint starts the song off and then that beat drops, that's just what it is. I gotta go with Black Ice. Love that joint to death. And I'm gonna go with another joint that a lot of people don't talk about. Beautiful Skin. It's all still standing. You know what I mean? One of my favorite songs. And I'm like Porsche. I think I prefer Still Standing over Soul Food just because, again, I was living in Atlanta when it dropped. And for folk who can't maybe understand that, I'm sure if you was living in Queensbridge when the Infamous dropped, it would mean so much more for you. You know what I mean? And maybe even if you was in Brooklyn, but I can't. And I've tried to have conversations with people about it. And I'm like, yo, I don't know if I don't live in Atlanta for that year, if I love Outkast and Goody as much as I do. You know what I mean? And it's like being there when it's almost like if your city like Jason, I don't know if you remember in 2001 when the Sixers, we went to the chip that year, like everywhere in Philly, like when it's like when your team is winning, the whole city is behind it. Like I remember we was in the Willow Grove Mall and we stopped at Auntie Anne's. Every store in the food court got the game on. Like that was the energy of Still Standing and ATLians in Atlanta. Like, so that's why if anybody can ever think about how your city felt like when the Yankees are winning or whenever your city squad is winning like that and the whole city's behind you, that's what it felt like in Atlanta. You know what I mean? And it's hard to not fall in love with that if you there. Like, even if you just like, Outkast, all right, trust me.
Yeah.
I think if you was there when these things happen, it definitely would spark something else in you. Vern, you were gonna say something?
So my mentor passed.
Right.
Saturday, I hopped in the ride and I drove to Decatur, just riding. And I played Soul Food, the whole album. And it was like a gospel album for me, man. So but you Kill, thank you. That's a great analogy of the sports team. We hadn't been winning, bro. So when Outkast and Dungeon and Goody Mob, bro, we embraced them and we still embrace them. We hold them to a high regard because there were other people out that will remain nameless on this show before those groups, but they didn't necessarily represent Atlanta. So yeah.
All right, no doubt. Organized Noise, to me, one of the dopest production crews ever, in my opinion. I could sit here and rattle off so many producers, and no disrespect to these producers, but Bink, Jake One, the Justice League. There's so many producers who have, emulated the Organized sound. I think Organized is the dopest production crew to mix live instruments with samples and drum programming than anybody. I think they do the best job of it. You know what I mean? Of mixing the two together. But before I salute Organize, I want to say this because a lot of people get this mixed up. People think that Organize produced all the Outkast albums, and they didn't.
They didn't.
So just trying to do the knowledge real quick while everybody was talking. On ATLiens, Organized Noise produced 9. On Aquemini, they produced 4, and by the time they got to Stankonia, they only produced 3. So it's a testament to what Big and Dre did, which again, I don't know a lot of other people. The only other person I know offhand who did it was Havoc, who didn't start off as a producer for their first album, you know, because Mobb Deep's first album was, you know, produced by Large Professor, you know, a whole, you know, bunch of producers. And then for Havoc to come back with The Infamous and to produce such a crazy body of work like The Infamous, and for this to be your first produced album, that says a lot. You know, there's a lot of skilled producers who've been producing their whole life who couldn't produce The Infamous like that. And it's the same with Outkast. I mean, we talk about Elevators. That was Outkast who did that beat, you know, not Organized Noise, you know. So just want to give props to Outkast. This is one of my favorite pictures right here.
Can I add something to that though?
Yeah, go ahead.
While we can, I mean, it's fantastic that Outkast moved into production of their own tracks and whatnot. I think that's a testament to Organized, because they taught them what the whole thing, right? I don't know that without the Organized Noise friendship and compatibility, that Outkast would be able to do that. And Vern can correct me if I'm wrong. I think on the documentary, if you watch it, there was a lot of collaboration and a lot of Organized Noise teaching Outkast along the way, and then kind of being like, okay, now you guys are like ready to do whatever you want to do, and you know, they lean on Organized Noise. So again, while yes, it's a testament to Outkast and shout outs to Outkast for that, that kind of goes back to how dope Organized Noise is, that they really empowered their family members, so to speak, to be able to do things like that as well. I just want to say that on record.
To Portia's point, Rico says on that documentary, "No, man, we ain't one of them crews that's gonna try to keep you in the choke."
Yes.
You ain't finna be talking about 20 years from now. Rico stole my publisher. Nah. We let everybody eat and everybody live.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get into that after we salute Organized, because I got a question for y'all. But this is one of my favorite pictures right there. If y'all can see it, it was them in the studio.
Right.
MPC, SP1200. Just, you know, anytime I see any equipment, I'm always like, yeah, that's what's up. But dope point for that, Porsche, because there's a lot of people who haven't done that. Right. You know what I mean? You got CL who been in the studio with Pete Rock. I'm like, nigga, you don't know how to make beats yet? Like, dog, you done been up under Pete Rock for 5 years. Like, dog, you should be an SP12, you know, thespian by now. Same thing with Guru. Nigga, you been in the studio with Premier since 1989 and you can't make no beats better than this. Like, so again, you know, just from the aspect of being taught or learning, whatever it was, you know. But again, you're right. Without Organized, I don't think Cast would be where they are. Top 5 Organized Noise produced songs. Porsche, what you got for us?
Okay, I got this song that I absolutely love is Don't Let Go by En Vogue. I love that one. I think sometimes people forget that Organized produced that. And that's, again, a testament to the ability of Organized Noise to sort of make their production style compatible with the group and the audience, right? So for me, they didn't come in with some production that you would hear Outkast over. They really catered that towards En Vogue and maximizing the instrumental backdrop for what En Vogue was gonna with their vocals. So for me, I love that song when it dropped. I still love it equally to this day. So that one, and then of course it's gonna be a repeat, so I won't go into too much detail. But Skewed on the Barbie, which is my absolute favorite Outkast song ever, and then Players Ball, Cell Therapy, We the Ones, and Backup Plan. So those ones, and that's just Sir Lucius Left Foot. So yeah, those are mine. And I just, again, Organized is just, I think it shows a lot of range. I think it shows a lot of chemistry from artist to artist and group to group. And I just love Organized Noise for that. So those are mine.
No doubt, no doubt. And before I forget about this, Porsche, can you show everybody your hoodie?
Yeah. It's Glory. Tracy
If you
Lee.
haven't copped it, Trey
haven't
Lee's new
copped it.
album.
Oh, it's Trey.
Lori, cop the album. Shameless plug to the Apartment 5B lawyer. So you want to get
I
that?
just got this
You want
on
to cop that
Monday, so
Glory
I'm going to
album?
be living in it from now on. So you guys will see this a lot more.
I was gonna wear mine, but I didn't want to be Trey Lee and the Gloriettes for the second week. So I said, let me just pass on being one of the Gloriettes this week. Eddie, what you got for your top 5 organized joints?
All right, I got some of the same as Porsche, but I'll start off with Waterfalls, TLC. It's kind of along the lines with En Vogue, Don't Let Go, which is another one of mine. I gotta have Cell Therapy on there. I mean, you already talked about a kill with that piano sample. I got Cool Breeze, Watch for the Hook.
Good pick.
Crazy track. And then Screw It on the Barbecue.
Yeah. And here's the funny thing, like what I was saying with Organized Noise. To this day, I don't know if Cell Therapy even is a sample. Like, I've never come up. It is?
The piano is from a ballet, a how-to ballet.
Okay.
Ray talks about it on the Art of Organized Noise. That's where they got it from.
Yo, I'm so sorry that that's not on Netflix no more. Like, what happened? Like,
what happened? I don't know.
I've never seen Netflix put out something and then take it down. But neither here nor there. So yeah, but that's a testament that I've been digging for God knows how long, and I've not come across that sample, and nobody that I know had either. Jace, what you got for your top 5 organized joints?
So I just wrote down some songs. I ain't actually.
Yeah, do your thing.
There you go. You like me, Jace? Yeah.
Like I'm like, as people talking, I'm looking up stuff like, I guess they didn't produce that. Like I'm seeing Mr. DJ for songs and Outkast. So I had Elevators. I had Ghetto Camelot from Cool Breeze. And I had Aquemini and The Art of Storytelling 1. So they didn't do any of those.
I want to say, they did. What did you say? One of the ones you said they did.
Well, they did Ghetto Camelot.
Right.
I think that's the only one they did.
Yeah, no doubt. Rack, what you got?
Players Ball, the
pretty much
reprise. It's all good. Players Ball, the reprise. One that nobody fucking talks about that is my shit. Backbone. 5 Deuce. 4 Trey.
I put it on here.
Yeah.
I heard that shit on Rap City, and I stopped what I was doing.
Yep.
I don't remember what I was doing, but I know I stopped.
Yep.
I went and bought Backbone's album, and I bought doubles of that single. It's in one of these boxes somewhere. It'll be up in the shelves in a minute. That joint is fire.
Yes, sir.
Luda, Saturday.
Okay, you
Yes,
just take
sir.
my list from me, man.
Love that
Yes,
joint.
sir.
Yep.
Love that joint. Benzor Beamer,
And
and They Don't Dance No More. Those are my
I ain't mad at that. Vern, what you got, good brother?
People stole my stuff, so I'm gonna just give you some other stuff. This is one nobody ever talks about. It's Blackberry Molasses by Mister.
Nigga. Now you
Oh, shit.
nigga, like,
They did that.
I'm gonna stop going last on my own. I'm gonna stop going last on my own goddamn show, man. I get jacked for everything by the time I talk.
Yeah, man. Rick stole 2 or 3 of mine, so I'm just. This is probably on your list too, Kill. Society of Soul, Pushing.
I don't have that, but I know the joint you're talking about.
Yeah. Southern Playlist, Cadillac Music. That whenever I want to feel like Atlanta and it's like 72 degrees, I open up the sunroof. You'll see me going about 85, just rolling, playing that on repeat. So Southern Playlist, that's 3. I believe they produced Adidas by Killer Mike and with Big Boy.
Love that joint.
Yeah.
Love that joint.
Shoot, man. I'm trying to do stuff nobody else done. Man, shout out to Dungeon Family. I'm like right now. Let's make some noise.
We Noriega, we drink champs.
No, but I'll say watch for the hook. Watch for the hook. Ever has a rap crew been so diverse, and that's the truth. Dungeon
All
Family.
right, no doubt. When you go last, you get jacked. So Cell Therapy, Players Ball, Don't Let Go, the En Vogue joint. Here's the thing, man. They brought En Vogue back from the dead.
Yes, they
Nobody was
Yes,
even
they
thinking
did.
about En Vogue at
Fact.
this point, and brought them back from the dead. And one of my favorite movies, Set It Off. I love that movie.
You've said this a few times, Kill. So shout outs to your consistency with that.
Oh yeah, thank you.
You say that all the time.
But I like to see people don't give people. Would you say?
Did they win a Grammy or anything for that? I remember the song was.
I don't know.
Big. Okay.
I don't know. But what I want, because sometimes people don't understand how hard that is to bring a crew back from the dead. You have some people who won't even want to touch you on some old, ain't nobody checking for En Vogue right now. So I don't even want to put my name next to your name. So number one, to want to deal with somebody who's basically kind of falling off, that says that you feel like you know what you're doing. And like I said, Don't Let Go, that's a top 3 En Vogue song for me, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So brought them back from the dead. Vern said Blackberry Molasses. Rex said Saturdays. I ain't even a huge Ludacris fan, but when Saturdays come on, that shit just is crazy. And again, I wouldn't even know they did that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even thought Organized did Saturdays of all beats. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't sound like them. Now, let me ask this question, because one of the things that was brought up in the Art of Organized Noise, and I don't know if you guys had a chance to read that article I sent out, but Rico felt some kind of way about Outkast not including them production-wise, on Speakerbox and Love Below. I don't know if that's hindsight, like, well, the shit sold 10 million records and that publishing check would have looked nice. I don't know if it was while they were recording it, it's like, damn, we ain't even get a phone call. Because as I said, you can see the number of production credits started to go down. Southern Playlistic was everything. ATLiens was 9. Aquemini was 4. Stangonia was 3. So it's like we literally were counting the fuck down to 0. So by the time they got the Speakerbox, it's at 0. Do y'all think, again, not knowing the background, I'm sure these people, I always tell people, when you've been in business, not only when you've been in friendship with people for over 20, 25 years, you're going to have some ups and downs, especially if you put business in that friendship. I mean, if you just go on YouTube and put up Raekwon and RZA, Vegas had put out something about Raekwon and RZA the other day. I couldn't find it, so I just went to YouTube. And I'm just like, I'm going through all this shit. RZA, why he don't fuck with Ray? Ray, why he don't fuck with RZA? Ghostface don't fuck with RZA. Like, when you do business and friendship with people, you have your fallings out. To me, it's almost natural. Do you think that is fucked up on Outkast's part? That, like you said, Portia, like I said, we're going to come back to it, that this is the team that taught y'all what to do, taught y'all everything. And the number, like, do you think, like, yo, you got to be guaranteed a spot? Because then it's almost like Vern said, hey, I want to keep you in a chokehold, go out and fly on your own, but don't fly too far away without forgetting about us. So how do you feel about, they taught them everything they know, took them under their wing, fly and be free, and niggas went and be free. So do you think that that's shady? Or do you think a conversation should have been had? Do you think it's, I share with the group, I got Musaid. Do you think that, you should have at least one track? Like, you should be guaranteed one track per album for what we did? What do you think, Porsche?
I think a conversation should have been had. I can't say that it's not shady, because if a conversation wasn't had, then there was an element of shadiness there. I don't think that Outkast had to guarantee a spot. I don't think they had to do anything. I don't think it was owed, but I think I think that it would have been good for everybody, and Rico wouldn't have felt a way if a conversation would have been had. And I think that because it wasn't had, like, I put that more on Outkast than I do Organized, because I feel like why aren't you able to have that conversation? Like, why?
But here's a question. Let me interrupt you for a second. Because I don't know, so I'm asking, do we know that a conversation wasn't had, or are we just assuming?
Well, I'm assuming based on the fact that Rico felt away. Because I feel like if a conversation was had and communication was clear, then there would have been no surprises, and it would have been like, okay, bet, like, you guys are going to do your own thing, or there would have been a reason why they were going to go that way. And I think that like that's all that it needed. I don't think that it should have been expected. Like I don't think Organized should have been like, well, they owe us or we have to or we should have been guaranteed. I think that's kind of silly because at the end of the day, it is business. But I do think that Outkast sort of dropped the ball there and should have been a little bit more considerate and a little bit more, just thoughtful with regards to that. I mean, at the end of the day, they did help you catapult your careers to where it was. And then you didn't even, like, again, this is assuming there was no conversation. If there was, then of course I stand corrected. But if I just feel like, yes, a conversation should have been had, and there is an element of shadiness if there wasn't, because, and I honestly put that on Outkast, not on Organized. So that's just me.
What you think, Ed?
Yeah, it makes me think because obviously Speakerbox and Love Below was just a very different album, right? It was essentially two separate albums, just packaged as one. So whatever direction they were moving in, I'm sure. I'm assuming it was like Andre had full creative control over his album, and Big Boy had full creative control over his, even though they were featured on each other's. But it's interesting that neither one of them reached out to Organize, unless that was part of the deal. Like, all right, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do our own projects, but we're not gonna involve them. I really don't know. But I do think it should have been a courtesy to at least reach out to them, and if that was their plan, let them know, hey, we got this project going on. We're gonna try to do it on our own. No hard feelings. This is just kind of the direction we're going. I'm sure that would have been cool. But it kind of, I'm not sure if it was shady, but it kind of feels a little shady when you kind of ghost them and don't kind of even let them know that. So.
Right. All right. What you think, Jace?
All right. So, question: we know that they didn't do anything on either one of them.
Yeah, they didn't do anything on that. That was Rico's beef. Like, it's y'all biggest album, and y'all ain't even call us.
I was gonna say, like, that's a business move. Like, that's padding your budget, because, like, if you're the artist and you actually produce your own, that's like, the labels are willing to give you more money than actually paying somebody to come in. Like, oh, he's asking for, like, nah, you can be like, I want 100,000. I produced it myself. I want 100,000 per track added to my budget.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Scott did the same thing. Like, it was hard to find out who the hell was producing Travis Scott beats on Astroworld, and it was like 12 people that actually got credit. So, yeah, I don't know.
All right, what you think, Rhett?
Would we be saying this if that shit went wood?
Not at all.
it's subjective because, like you said, they gave them the tools to be free. You can't be mad when a motherfucker go sell 100 million and did not include you. I get it. Yeah, give them a courtesy. I say, man, give them one track or two, but if they don't, they don't. Organized Noise is dope enough to stand on their own and go do something with somebody else that can sell 100 million. I get it, but like you said, friends in business, in all actuality, that's a tight line you walk in. You got to take that shit out the equation. Ain't no friendship when the motherfucking bottom line is involved at all. This motherfucking, what's the bottom line? What's the business? What's the shit in the middle? Ain't got time for it. So I'm it's messed up that that's how he feels. But, you got to know that at that stage of the game, you done sold that many records. You got to know that at some point you might not get a track on the album with a group that can sell 10 million out the gate.
Right. What you think, Vern?
I'm sorry. I just thought of something real quick before you go to Vern. So Sleepy Brown was featured on The Way You Move. He's part of Organized Noise, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So now I'm even more confused.
That's a good point, Ed. That's a good point. Yeah,
I'm gonna look up.
I love how God works. I love how God works because it's running up. I'm coming to my point right here. But great point, Ed. What are you gonna say, Vern?
So yes, thank you, Eddie, because I was gonna mention that as well. It might have been nice, but it's not owed to them, contractually or whatever. And I mean, it's like the writing was on the wall. If your production credits were going down and down and down and down and down, I mean, eventually it was going to be there. I mean, and I imagine Cass felt like, look, man, you know, y'all helped us eat, we helped y'all eat, you know, so let's just do the thing. And it's not like it was a mystery. They produced it right here in Atlanta, and each, I don't know how many songs were on each album, like 15 apiece or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
so they didn't do that under a rock somewhere.
Nah, they were probably right at Stankonia.
You're right. It couldn't have been a shock to Rico and all them. It just is what it is, man. So I don't begrudge it. And to your point, Rhett, if it had gone wood, we'd be talking about it. You know, it would be nice to be on the how many diamonds did it go?
I mean, it went 10. It went 10 million.
I know it went 10, but at this stage, who knows?
Yeah, it'd have been nice, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you know, sorry.
No, I feel you. And I think for me, it's hard because being a producer, it's one of those things like in my head, I feel like large, like Nas. I'll say, I feel like Nas owes Large Pro a track. You know what I mean? Like you put me on. Like without Large Professor, like Nas is probably dead. Just on some real shit. The way niggas talk about Queensbridge, that nigga's probably dead. You know what I mean? So I don't care which way I'm moving as an artist. Keep sending me shit, bro. Keep sending me shit. You know, I get you on a remix because the hard part is at this point, or, you know, Speakerboxxx Love Below is like 2000, 2001. At this point, Organized Noise is dead in the water. Nobody's calling. Nobody's, you know, there's no phone calls. There's no knocks at the door. It's kind of like your man is doing bad. Your man who you used to give all the rides to and the man who you looked out for and all of that, like he doing bad. So I can understand Rico feeling like, damn, I'm standing here waiting on the MARTA bus and I just seen Big Boy drop by in a new Phantom. You know what I mean? So again, it's different ways. And this is where it's hard when you come up in the game with somebody because Outkast was kids, you know, because Rico and them are older than them, you know, so this is high school to now. So again, you know, there's somebody who I helped get on and make their album and make the noise. Do they owe me anything? I ain't gonna hold y'all. I feel like they do. Like you gotta, you, and maybe owed isn't the right way, but you know, maybe I want you to look out too. Like I looked out for you. Now look out for me. You're in a position to win. Help me bring up and be in a position to win. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's old. I always say it all the time. It's how, you know, it's how folk are raised. You know, my mom's raised me to be a very giving person. It doesn't matter however many times people jerk me over, I'm not going to stop being given to the next person. You know what I mean? Like that's just the way I was raised. And maybe these people weren't raised the same way to kind of understand, oh, I'm supposed to look out for somebody, you know, because there are parents out there who don't teach their kids, look out for somebody, think about somebody else. I've had Naomi out here in the hood with me giving back since she could walk. So she understands the importance of, oh, I got some money, so let me go feed these people who don't have some money. Somebody else wasn't taught that. You know what I mean? So again, I'm somewhere in the middle of, I don't know if it's old, but it's like, yo, if your people's is doing bad, let me just keep it a buck with you. Every goddamn beat on fucking Speakerboxxx wasn't crazy to me. It wasn't. So it ain't like it was, we talking about Illmatic and it was like, God damn, I mean, what beat would we take off to fit an organized beat? There was plenty of beats that could have been taken off of that shit. To be honest with you, that's my probably least favorite big solo album is Speakerboxxx. So it's not like we talking about some hip hop iconic album that's like, well, what would you take off? Represent or one? There's a lot of, to me, there's some bricks on Speakerboxxx.
Yep.
Love Below the same way. It ain't like these niggas can't do R&B.
I actually,
you know, as much as I love Spread and Happy Valentine's Day, I'm sure Organized could have cooked up something that could have fit in just like that. But again, I don't know because maybe they had a falling out. Maybe there was some fuck yous. Maybe there was some, you tried to kick it to my girl. And so again, this is just people watching at home. This is just folk from the outside looking in. I don't know. 3,000 could be screaming that screen right now. Nigga, you don't know what them niggas did. You 100% right. We don't. This is just folk outside looking in. But Vern, what you going to say?
At what point do you, okay, because like I said, the 3 or 4 albums in, they had production on with Outkast.
Right.
Is there at what point do you stop owing, you know what I mean, owing Organized Noise a track? Or to your point, Wakil, I guess you never stop owing.
And see, but here's the bad part. When you say it like that, the shit sounds bad. So that's why I said maybe it's not owing. Here's the thing. When I was in college, I didn't have a car. That man right there would take me to the airport to pick up my girl from the airport. This dude was my guy. Anytime I needed to go somewhere, we drove to Atlanta. He'd drive me to Philly. So I don't know if I feel like I owe him, but anything that man needs, he could call me and I'm going to give it to him if I got it. You see what I'm saying? So, and I don't know if that's y'all define that. Is that owing him, or is that just he looked out for me when I didn't have?
It's looking out.
To your point, Kill, my man Derek Jackson, I'm gonna shout him out by his government. When I moved to Atlanta in '86, that has been my ace since then. And I talked about it on one of the shows where him and his wife was, we all struggled. Derek used to cut my hair from 9th grade through college for free. We worked at Burger King together. When I got a car, I pick him up for school, whatever. Used to hang out with him in Athens. When we become adults, I was like, hey man, y'all meet me downtown at this restaurant. We ate, we walk into the Fox to see Jill Scott. And he knew his wife didn't know. I told him, don't tell her. We walking. We stopped like 3 rows from the front. I was like, bruh, I will never forget what you did for me. And I got that art piece. I don't know if you can see it. It's a DJ. The glare is bad. I got that piece of artwork, and I got 2 downstairs. He's an artist. I'm gonna always ride for my dudes. You know what I mean? I did his mom's house, his brother, him. So we it's a constant give and take. So I'm contradicting myself now because I like you.
But no. But it's a good conversation because maybe the word isn't owed.
Yeah.
Like Jace, I don't know if you feel like I owe you for what you did for me through college. You see what I'm saying? But the situation is it doesn't matter if Jace, we haven't hung out probably about 3 or 4 years the last time we was in Philly. But to my point is, it doesn't matter for me. If he called me and we hadn't spoken 10 years and he said, yo, Kill, I need such and such and such. If I got it, I'm going to give it to him. So maybe the word owed is not the right word because I don't feel like maybe it's just I know how he looked out for me. So I feel like there's no time limit. Like, nigga, I've been out of college 25 years. I mean, the statute of limitations of owing somebody is probably up after 25 years. But if he calls me tomorrow like, Kill, I need a beat, nigga, here. Don't worry about no money. All the shit you did for me, just do what you do. Like, so maybe that's what I'm saying.
I forgot about that beat.
What happened? What you said?
I said I forgot about that.
Yeah, I still need to send you that beat. I forgot which one it was, but it's yours, whatever it was. But what I'm saying is maybe that's why I'm saying maybe we're using the wrong word in owe. So I don't, because you're right. When you say it like that, well, damn, Kill, how long they gonna owe Rico and them? It's like, damn, that do sound bad. But then when I give the example of Jason, what he did for me, it don't sound bad that, yo, I remember what you did. So no matter what you ever need, nigga, I got you. It don't matter. We could be 70 years old. So we just got to find a new word because O is just the wrong word in this situation. So we'll have to figure it out now. One day, we'll figure out what the right word is. But I feel you. So let me tell you this. So this top 5 crews is good. Is the Dungeon Family a top 5 hip hop crew for you? I'm gonna go first. Yes, they are. Yes. They come in at the number 5 spot for me behind the Juice Crew, Boot Camp Click, Wu-Tang, and Hit Squad. They come in at the number 5 spot. I tell people,
Juice Crew.
I'll get to you. I want to know why you laughing. What's up, Jace?
No, you said Juice Crew, and I don't know. For some reason, I just forgot about them as a crew.
But I went through my man Salim. Shout out to my man Salim, the plug. He got me a joint where through Apartment 5B, I do ticket giveaways at the Howard in DC. So I'm at every hip hop show, R&B show at the Howard. And the Dungeon family came through maybe a year ago for like their 20th anniversary tour. They tore that shit down. It was everybody but 3000. And I mean, they tore that shit down. And I loved how they did it. Goody would come out and do 2 songs. Then Big Boy and Sleepy would come out and do 2 songs. Then, you know, Witch Doctor would come out and do a song. Then Cool Breeze would come. They just kept the rotation going. So it wasn't just like, okay, we doing the Outkast set, we doing this. They just kept the rotation going. Had 2 DJs. I tell people this all the time, scratching, actually DJing. Any other show at the Howard, the DJ is just press and start and stop. You know, there's no, y'all know y'all been to hip hop shows. Yo, motherfucker, turn that shit off. All right, yo, turn my shit on. Like, that's it. There's no scratching, there's no blending. They had 2 DJs scratch. I mean, they tore it down. They tore it down. So yes, for me, the Dungeon family is definitely top 5. But behind, like I said, the people I named. And the only reason why they come in at 5 but not closer is because I won't hold you. I wasn't a big fan of the Cool Breeze album. Really didn't get into Witch Doctor like that. Like, to me, when I think Dungeon, is Goody Mob and Outkast. You know what I mean? So that's the only reason why they come in at the number 5 spot. I salute Cool Breeze and Witch Doctor and, you know, PA, but as a whole, they do make my spot at the number 5 spot. Porsche, what about you?
I got them in top 3, and I think, like, the older I get, I feel like the more they go up in rank. And I think the reason for that is that things like before Wu-Tang was my favorite crew of all time. I have Dungeon Fam above them. And the reason for that is just simply the amount of like family, like they call themselves the Dungeon family, and they truly acted and carried themselves like a family within themselves. And we never really heard of any big, huge falling out, any lawsuits, any shady deals on the side like we did with, let's say, Wu-Tang, for example. With,
well, I mean, Goody Mob did make One Monkey Don't Stop No show. Like, there have been some issues, you know, within the Dungeon family. No, you know, they called the nigga a monkey. Like, so.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like, what I mean is Organized Noise taught Outkast, you know, how to
right.
produce, and they just feel like a family. That and as a fan, I never really heard any messy business from them throughout their. I mean, come on, Wu-Tang is riddled with mess. Like, they're just messy all over the place, and we. But
you know, to me, what makes them, but to me, what makes that dope is that's real family shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, family shit is gonna get.
Because sometimes, yes, like I agree with you, families have some messiness, but a lot of times, and I think it just depends, I guess, maybe our backgrounds, our cultures, what we're pretty much accustomed to. Like my culture, like Persian culture, we don't put these kinds of things on Front Street, right? So to me, when I look at Dungeon family, if they had a lot of messiness,
I see what you're saying, that it was behind closed doors. It wasn't going to be on YouTube.
It was respectful. They never really put anyone in their.
I see what you're saying.
So for me, I really, really respect that. And every time I heard like some issue with Wu-Tang, like that album that got sold to Silver Bells, whatever. Every time I hear things like that, like I cringe because I'm like, oh, you guys, like, can't you guys just like shut your mouths about something? Like, RZA's got like 10 floods. I mean, Raekwon's not talking to Ghost. Ghost isn't talking to Shyheim. Like, it's just a mess all over the place. You know what I mean?
So I see what you're saying. That just publicly, they kept it in house. They kept everything in house.
Kept everything in house, and they upheld each other's respect in front of fans, so to speak. And I really, really appreciate that. I think it takes, especially in the industry, especially when there's money involved, I think it takes a lot of respect and discipline to do that, and to do that long term. And even to this day, when Organized Noise is talking about, you know, their experience with the groups and producing for people, and, you know, the Dungeon and people coming and going, it's all in love. It all, at the end of the day, you just feel like they let you into that family. And for that, I they just keep kind of going up in ranks for me. So yes,
All right.
definitely top spots. I love them. So.
All right, cool. Oh, you know what I was gonna say real quick about when we were dealing with Owen Vern. I don't know if you saw the Whispers TV One special, but what struck me about them is when they said one of them I think was locked up or one of them was that they kept paying him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the first. Yeah, Jake's like, huh? like that was the first time I'd ever heard of something like that where it was like, no, we're gonna keep giving his family his cut. You know, because normally it's cutthroat. You can't make the show, nigga. You don't get paid. You know what I mean? So again, like, you know, we'll figure the word, but it's like, did the Whispers owe that to him or was that the friendship? So we still got to find a word for that Owen. And I'll come back to my other question later. Eddie, what you got? Top 5 crew?
Yeah, so I got him at number 4. So I got Juice Crew, Native Tongues, Wu-Tang. Then I got Dungeon Fam and then Boot Camp right behind them. So the reason why I got Dungeon Fam above Boot Camp just because of influence.
Right.
So I feel like, you know, all those top 4 has more influence. You know, obviously, you know, Juice Crew is, I mean, they legendary MCs, all of them, Native Tongues, you know, the sound that they brought, Wu-Tang again, Wu-Tang just kind of changed the thing. And, you know, Dungeon Fam, you know, what they did for Atlanta, you know, about the whole, you know, family thing. I think, you know, the thing about Wu-Tang is that, you know, I understand. I think the whole Silver Rings thing
Silver Rings.
was
I always call him Silver Bells. Sorry, I don't know. This guy's such a dork.
It's all good.
It's not that fucking different, so it's still a bad thing. It's not that different.
Obviously, that was messy, and I mean, but it is a family. I mean, you know, I think the fact that they still, you know, they're still a crew, you know, after all these years with that many members, you know, obviously they have the Wu affiliates which have come and gone, but you know, aside from ODB, rest in peace, you know, but rest of the crew is intact. Capadonna, I don't know what he's doing. He got the Jungle Book.
We're not gonna talk about that out. Let's just.
But you know what I mean? Like they still finding ways to collaborate together. You know, even if it's not the whole. I mean, they came out with the album. They have Redman on there, but you know, even individual members collaborating with each other, you know, it's still nice to see. But going back to Dungeon Fam, you know, yeah, I mean, even though obviously Outkast and Goody Mob were the top 2 acts, you know, but I mean, the impact alone, you know, puts them up there.
All right.
And the rest were dope, you know, in the circle of that whole crew, their features and all that. But yeah. That's
all
what
right,
it is.
no doubt. Jace, you got them top 5?
Yeah, I got them top 5. I don't really have a specific order, but I got them top 5 just out of the sheer number of people that they had and then the amount of product they put out. Like everybody put out an album.
Right.
Like I'll ride around playing Slim Calhoun. And motherfuckers like, who the fuck is that?
right.
Slim Calhoun. What the fuck is wrong
Slim
with you?
Cutter.
Right. And that's a good point because you got a lot of crews where people don't put out the album. You know, they in the crew, but the album never drops.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good point. That's a good point.
I'm like, yo, Cat from Dungeon Family. Like, he's in there too? Like, yeah, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Killer Mike. Yeah, Killer Mike.
And they all nice.
Yeah, you're right about that. Rec, what about you? Who you top 5?
Yeah, they make it off of influence. Maybe not so much outside of Goody, Dungeon, and Outkast as far as music, but influence for the South. Yeah, there is no dirty South without the Dungeon family, without Timo and them guys. That's them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a whole culture down there. That's a whole way of movement. There isn't certain things within the region and the movement as we know it without them.
Right.
So,
Vern, what about you?
Yes.
All right. I ain't gotta say nothing else, but yes. Question: because of what everybody's saying about the influence, Vern, you're still in Atlanta. Do you feel like Atlanta that they're still heralded, like I guess in this new Atlanta? You know what I mean? Like, you know, you got a trap museum, and I'm like, if y'all got a trap museum, how don't y'all have a dungeon museum? Like, so do you feel like Atlanta, like, because everybody up here has said the impact that they have for the South, there's no dirty South without them. Do you feel like new Atlanta loves Outkast as much as, and loves the Dungeon family as much as we do?
No.
And if not, why?
Okay, so let me start by saying this. I'm get off my lawn, dude, right now. I hate the new Atlanta.
Okay.
I went downtown Saturday with my daughter. I don't mess with Buckhead and all that because it's full of scammers, people robbing, shooting. Just it ain't the love that Atlanta was then. I mean, it was crime and drug dealing and all that then, but it's just buck wild.
But now I'm hearing about people getting shot at Lenox Mall. I'm like, God damn, y'all shooting up Lenox Mall?
Man,
Lenox Mall ain't what it was.
6, 7, 8, 9 shootings on the newest Goody Mob album. They said, man, Lenox is like Greenbrier now.
Yeah.
And I never wanted to go to Greenbrier when I lived down there too.
There you go. Yeah. And then from the music side of it, no. And it's funny because one of the big acts is Rico Cousin. He was birthed in the Dungeon family.
In Dungeon.
Yeah. Future.
So,
yeah. So, but I mean, it's the sign of the time, sign of kids not respecting their elders. You got this other clown talking about he don't know no 3 stacks, bro. If you wouldn't have a
Jeffrey
without 3 stacks, just stop with the foolishness.
Right.
So no, they're not revered as they were, but I think that's more of a testament to the young bucks not respecting the past and understanding that without them there is no them.
Right. Now I feel like I said, as soon as I heard there was a trap museum, I'm like, and there ain't no dungeon museum, but I can't call that. Another thing I was trying to think about, what do you guys think about this? And just real quick, because I want to get on with the rest of it, but I just thought about this. A couple of years ago, Big brought the original dungeon house. That, if I'm not mistaken, Vern, is that Rico's mother's house?
Rico's mother's house, but Rico has moved since then. Somebody else.
Okay.
If you look on the Art of Organized, somebody else was living in the house when Rico and them went back there. So yeah.
Okay. All right. I thought that was dope, you know, that he copped it, you know, and everything like that. So I thought that was dope. All right. Slept on MC out the Dungeon family. Slept on MC. Porsche, who you got?
I got Witch Doctor.
Okay.
And I say that because he was slept on to me. I literally had to like dig for that inside of when I was kind of educating myself about the Dungeon family years ago. I was like, well, who's this and who's that? And I love Killer Mike. I don't really mess with Killer Mike and LP, like that kind of thing. But Witch Doctor to me is dope. He's like, if I was going to compare him to anybody in a crew, he reminds me of like the Shyheim of Wu-Tang. Does that make sense? In a way. And I love that. I think he's like the edgy rapper. He has his album, A SWAT Healing Ritual. That one, like, to me, it's such a dope listen. I think his like rapping skills are pretty much on display there. That's his debut, and Organized produced it. Dope joint. Like, again, that one, if you guys spin it, you'll see again the range of Organized and how they can cater the production to still kind of capture the South, but then very much gauge it towards the rapper, because Witch Doctor doesn't sound like anybody else in the crew at all. But he's dope as hell to me. So I find that album very enjoyable. And yeah, I mean, one of my goodie joints was the one featuring Witch Doctor as well. I think he's just such a good addition to that family. So for me, it's Witch Doctor. And I also have Big Boy, but I mean, we talked about it. So.
All right, no doubt. Eddie, who you got?
I got Cool Breeze. You know, I was a fan of Cool Breeze, you know, when that when that joint came out. He dropped Watch for the Hook, and you know, I copped that album. I liked it. I mean, you know, have I revisited a bunch of times? Not really, but you know, he's dope. He has some dope verses with the crew. Like probably the one that stands out most is him on Dirty South.
So yeah,
Um,
that was his song.
he
That was
killed
his
that.
song.
Mhm.
That was his song that they.
Yeah. Mhm.
Gotcha. That makes sense then. Yeah.
All right, cool, Breeze. That's dope. Jace, who you got?
Slim Calhoun.
All right.
Slim Cutter. Well, I don't know. I just like dude's voice, and to me, it seems like T.I. kind of got something from him.
I was gonna
To
say
me.
he's a precursor to T.I. Yes.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Slim Cutter Calhoun.
it
I
reminds
feel
me because their styles were kind of the same. I don't know whether like in Philly, in Atlanta, everybody like kind of rhymes the same way until they get to that point. But he kind of remind me of T.I.
I can see that too. Now that you're saying that,
Good one. Yeah.
It's funny because their times kind of meshed, and I thought one was the other when T.I. was coming out, and I found out it wasn't. Because I think Slim Cutter Calhoun had that single out at the time when T.I. was just coming out.
that's a dope point. I never think about that before.
The singles merged, and you know you can't tell who's who if you ain't really listening. They sound
That's a
damn
good
near
point.
alike.
I didn't think about that. I need to go back and listen to that Slim joint because I remember loving that joint.
Yeah, Slim Cutter
just
Calhoun
kinda
is dope.
just kind of lost touch with it.
Yeah.
Rack, who you got for your
Sing that song, okay?
Yes. He
The
was
joint,
dope
okay.
as fuck.
I'm like, yo, who is is that T.I.?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Rack, who you got for yours?
My guy's Backbone, man. That Concrete Law album.
Mhm.
One and only album, man.
Yeah.
Hit like
One and
5
only
dudes
album.
for Trey.
That thing was crazy. That thing was crazy, man.
Yo, y'all bringing back memories, man. That's man, so much dope music that throughout the years I just kind of forgot about. But you know, I gotta definitely go back and revisit, man. What about you, Vern?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. What you saying, bro?
I was gonna say Porsche. I had to go back and do my history with your guy. I didn't like him at first, Witch Doctor.
Oh.
But then I went back and I listened to that Killy 2-Click John.
Yeah.
I was driving from Houston to San Antonio. Me
Nice.
and my wife, we had separate cars, so I got to bang whatever, and
Nice.
I was like, yeah. So good pick.
Nice.
Dope. Vern, who you got?
Mr. Cameron Gibb, the mutant.
He called him the mutant.
Big Gibb. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Kim.
good.
I'm not gonna last no more. I'm gonna go in the middle. I try not to go first to be polite to everybody else. Like you come to my apartment, y'all eat first, then there ain't no food left for me. I'm gonna have to start eating in the middle. Go ahead, explain Big Gibb, Brian.
Big Gibb. People talk about 3 Stacks originality, like his dress and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's
Gibb.
Gibb.
That's good.
Gibb.
Yeah.
And I love his unorthodox rhyming. He says things they don't rhyme, but Gibb has a persona that makes him dope, man. And he's always been like that from album number 1. And it's crazy that LaFace tried to be all janky and offer him and CeeLo solo deals.
Solo deals.
No, I'm not taking it because if I do, it will never be Goody Mob. And I was glad that he was able to branch out with Nelly and all them boys and do his thing. So yeah, Cameron Gibb.
And I got Gibb too. For everything Vern just said. Truth be told, man, I ain't never cared nothing about no celebrity couples. I ain't never care who's banging who. But him and Joy just look like a dope couple. Like it's him and Joy and Nipsey and Lauren. Like those are the only 2 celebrity couples in the history of hip hop that I've ever given a fuck about. Was Gibb and Joy, and people sleep on Joy. I know she ain't dungeon, but people sleep on Joy.
No, she is
Joy was fire. Joy was fire.
Yeah, her birthday was this week. So happy birthday, Joy.
Oh, is that why she was posting all those pictures?
Yeah.
I don't even want to ask.
Nah, she posted some nice stuff from like the early 90s. Her and her girlfriends. It was cool.
Okay.
She turned 50.
I think so. It was just really cool to see her. You know, she posted a lot of pictures from her early years that we probably didn't get to see pre-Joy, and it was just cool to see it. It was real cool to see it.
Posted last week how she was almost frustrated that her art is not appreciated. I was like, man, I was just bumping your junk tonight. You might not be appreciated by the masses, but you dope.
Yo, I'll tell you this. Joy and Sleepy Brown got 2 banging ass like Fire and Desire type songs, man. Like got some dope freaky shit. So yeah, Joy is definitely appreciated. So
I'm gonna check that out.
What is y'all favorite album out the dungeon? Favorite album? Porsche?
Like, you mean like including Outkast, including
everybody. You gotta pull one album. You gotta drive from shit. I don't even know how far is Vancouver to Cali.
Oh, it's like 2 days.
God damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Well, shit, you gotta drive from Philly to Atlanta. Like, let's give you like a 15-hour drive.
Right,
like, I don't give you a 2-day drive. Like,
Um,
give you a 12-hour drive. You gotta take a Dungeon Family joint for a nice 12-hour ride. What you riding with?
I want to say, I mean, I would be lying if it wasn't an Outkast joint. It would be a Aquemini.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted so badly to say, like, I love the Even in Darkness album that's got everybody on it, but like, I'd be lying if I said that that's the one I'm going to grab. Like, I would definitely grab Aquemini.
You know what? We're going to keep it a salute show. I'm not going to talk about Even in Darkness.
Okay.
Eddie,
I like that album. I never hear anyone talk about it. I guess maybe it's not well liked.
I think it was a solid album, but I think my expectations for like we're getting the Dungeon Family album, like my expectations were like 5 Mike. This is gonna be classic. We got Dungeon, we got Goody.
Yeah.
Right.
I have zero expectations, and I think it was dope for me because I was just like it was like a little bonus to have everybody there. So yeah, I'd go with Aquemini.
All right. What about you, Eddie?
Oh, easy, Aquemini. I love the other projects, man, but that one it hit me the most when it first came out, and it's the one that stuck with me the most. Like it's one of my all-time favorite hip hop albums.
Right. No doubt, Jace. What you got?
My Aliens. Yeah.
Dope.
I've played that many times.
Dope. Shout out to my good brother Eddie. Got me this as a Christmas present. The nice L2 disc. Loving the back cover. You know what I mean? Very dope joint right there. So Aliens can't go wrong with that joint. Rec, what you got for yours?
I'm with Jace, man. Aliens probably out of the whole discography has the most hold on me in my life, just based on where I was when it came out and how much I lived with it. Dropping back and forth from VA, being on flights, catching, going to different schools, V-State, Norfolk State to play these games. That's all I was listening to at the time. So, yeah.
All right. No doubt. Vern, what you got?
That one right there.
Southern
Player.
Southern.
Because of the backstory. I mean, it's always going to have a special place in my heart that I heard them before the world heard them or knew who they were. So yeah, that's mine right there.
Right. For me, I'm going with the Aquemini joint. Can't go wrong with it. You know what I mean? When me and Eddie was in LA, he had the idea for us to pick up the albums that meant the most to us. I picked this up. He picked up GZA's Liquid Sword. So can't never go wrong with Aquemini. Slept on album out of the Dungeon Family. I don't think anybody's going to name what I'm going to name, so I'll go last. But Porsche, what do you have?
I think I mentioned it when I mentioned Witch Doctor. It's the Healing Ritual album.
Okay.
I never, ever, ever, ever hear anyone talk about it, even diehard Dungeon Family fans. It's definitely one of those you got to kind of look for it specifically. I don't think you just come across it for no reason. It's not one that just shows up in your, playlist or whatever. So yeah, that one for me. And again, it's just because I like the uniqueness that Witch Doctor brings, and I think that album is very well put together, all around. So that one for me.
All right, what you got, Eddie?
And I mean, honestly, I didn't give this a whole lot of thought, but I'll probably go with that Cool Breeze. Like I said, I personally liked it a lot. I think he kind of left. He came out with that one and just kind of fade into obscurity a bit, so he don't get talked about too much.
All right, no doubt. What you got, Jace?
Slim Cutter Calhoun, skinny.
We running to Boston with Slim Cutter tonight.
Yeah.
All right, no doubt. Right. Rec, what you got for yours?
It will be Backbone. It will be Backbone. I dug that album. I thought I was the only person that heard it, and was spending one night when I was stationed in Alaska. My man came up to the table with 2 Heinekens and a 20 and was like, "This that fire." He knew what it was. I was surprised, man. I was absolutely shocked. But it's not talked about a lot.
All right, no doubt. Vern, what you got?
Idlewild.
Okay.
Joints.
Yeah. Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
You got Janelle Monáe, you got Joy, you got mighty old Morris Brown.
Freeman
Mike floated on that mug.
Yeah, you got the other joint. What's that?
Hollywood
Small Town
Divorce.
Marriage or whatever it is. Hollywood Divorce.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Hollywood Divorce.
That thing was retarded.
My daughter is in second year law school.
Damn, I forgot about
got a
that.
hip hop and law class, and that's one of the songs they talk about.
Hollywood Divorce.
Ooh.
Yo, what is a hip hop and law class? What is that?
Because she's one of her specialties wants to be entertainment law. And,
Okay.
and her professor, one of the dopest. She represented the Roots and a whole bunch of other people, whatever. So yeah, today when I walked in there, they were listening to Who We Be. They don't know the professor broke down what he was saying and why he was saying it. It was very dope. So yeah.
Dope. That's dope.
Yeah. Well, law school is still too.
Georgia State.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, good. Nobody said this. This right here, Sleepy's thing. Okay. 5 mics, eyes closed. There have only been 2 things in my life that I have given a money back guarantee on. Okay. Y'all gonna laugh at the first one. Paper Soldiers by Kevin Hart. When that shit dropped, it was at Circus Paper Soldiers. It was a Rockefeller movie. It was Kevin Hart's first movie.
I remember that's John Beanie Siegel was chumping.
Right,
God,
exactly.
I thought you were going to say Myron. I
How?
Bro, you stood on that hill.
I'm not giving no money back guarantee for Myron. So no, it wasn't Myron. God,
you stood on that hill, bro.
Myron.
You stood on that hill by yourself.
I will still stay on the hill, but I ain't giving no money back guarantee to Myron though. But
All right.
and Circus City Paper Soldiers was $6, and I told people go out and buy this DVD. This like 2002. I'm like, buy this DVD. If you don't like it, I will give you your money back. Never had to give anybody your money back. This right here, Sleepy's thing.
Sleepy's theme.
Sleepy's. The name of the album is The Vinyl Room, but like it was like Sleepy and these 2 other dudes.
I think I remember. I don't know what these 2 other dudes did. He did some promo for it. I think I remember it.
But this joint right here, 5 mic, amazing soul music. Just again, if you can't even buy it on Amazon. It used to be for like $10. Same thing. I gave a money back guarantee. If you buy this album and you don't like it, I will give you your money back. So yeah, this is how dope Sleepy's theme is to me. Not to mention, y'all know me. I love seeing people on drum machines. If you zoom in real quick there, you see him on the MPC. Like just all the vinyl, for that. So very dope album. And another quick shout out to Sleepy Brown because people don't talk about him. He's part of Organized Noise. Has had a very dope run. The Mr. Brown album was dope. He had an EP out maybe 5 or 6 years ago called ATL Legend. That was dope. So yeah, shout out to Sleepy. Like Eddie said, so many of these big boy joints that we love have Sleepy right there. And in fact, him and Sleepy was supposed to be dropping. Big Boy and Sleepy was supposed to be dropping an album, like almost for the past year.
They made a video of one
And
song.
Sleepy had Society of Soul, right?
Sleepy had Society of Soul too.
Yeah.
So that's okay because that's what when I was talking about this, people were like, oh, you gotta go hear Society of Soul, and then that's when I went and copped the Society of Soul album. So that's that. All right, y'all. Dope show. Prayerfully, everybody watching, you got something out of Dungeon Family. I got some things I need to go listen to. I listen to Slim Calhoun again. I got this Age Against the Machine special education from Goody I got to listen to. So prayerfully, it's a good salute show. Porsche, give them all your information. Where can they get at you?
Twitter at Cherchez La Porsche. And for the first time, I'll shout out our Clubhouse edition, Apartment 5B, Monday nights. We do really dope shows. Honestly, I love those. They're like a little extension of this, and they've all been so fruitful and great conversation, great dialogue. Shout out to everybody who joins us and kind of adds their insights and everything. I mean, we've met a couple new people who I hope will become regulars in attendance. But yeah, so that's on Clubhouse Monday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. So.
And I got to salute you for putting that together because, I'm not a Clubhouse dude, so I appreciate you doing that. But I do like it because I feel like it gives people who watch the show a chance to chop it up with us when they can't get on the show. So I
always tell people, that. I'm like, if Apartment 5B was a corporation, I'd look after the Clubhouse section of it. So like, Kill is the president, and I'm like the VP of Clubhouse Edition. So I just kind of made that for myself.
And again, Glory by Trey Lee's new album. It's out on all streaming platforms right now, and the book is about to drop either this week or next week. I think you can pre-order it now.
I pre-ordered mine. I can't wait to get the manuscript. It's going to be dope as hell. I can't wait. So,
right. Eddie, tell them all about Freed Styles and where to get at you, good brother.
Yo, so I'm on Twitter at EddieD80, Instagram. You can hit me up on my Freed Styles Instagram. Freestyles.com, got a lot of different content, reviews and, different stuff like that. I actually just did an interview with Rec One's brother Chaden, who's a very dope producer. He got a new album coming out pretty soon. I'm about to drop it soon. It'll probably be out by the time this episode drops. It might be out, but yeah, very, very dope interview, man. And that album once it drops, man, that album is crazy, man. I
ain't gonna say nothing, man. That album is fire. You just need to hear it when it drops. I'm proud of my little brother, man. I'm absolutely proud of him. Watching him come up these last 10, 11 years, that album is fire.
That's what's up. Jace, where can they get at you, good brother?
10_10 wins. Instagram 1010WINZ on Twitter. Also check out the iCast podcast featuring my man Gary Gnu. Got a bunch of dope 90s era artists coming up. Got to book them. Got a lot of time slots in, but yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming out next month.
That's dope. Yo, you had Jamal on there, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's dope. I gotta check that episode out. Man.
That Instagram handle again?
It's 10_10 wins, WINS.
Okay. Yeah, I always tell people, man, Last Emperor, man, one of the dopest MCs I ever heard in my life, who the world has not gotten to hear and to salute his talents.
The Philly banger.
Yeah, the way it is. James, I don't even know. Do you remember bringing him to my crib?
No, but that was my man. Like,
Bobby, it's funny because you brought him to the crib to listen to beats, and we ended up in my mom's basement going through my comic book collection.
Wow.
And then that's when we started talking about Secret Wars and everything like that. Yeah, but very dope show. Very, very dope brother, man. Like I said, one of the dopest MCs. That Legend of Bigfoot album, I feel like if that would have dropped, there's so many, like, if this album, fill in the blank, would have dropped, things would have been different. I feel like he'd be a household name if that album would have dropped when it was supposed to drop. You know what I mean? So just industry hoopla. Rec, where can they get at you, good brother?
Instagram, DJ Rec, the number 1 NE. Twitter is at DJ Rec 1. Wednesdays, man, 8 to 9, Texas Fleet Radio. It's on Android and the iPhone. Download the app. Check it out. Friday nights, Denver, Colorado, 98.5. I'm on from 10 to 11. Foundation is there. Just pushing, man. I'm trying to get on a couple more radio shows I got in the works. And then just me and little bro, we working this year. So it's going to be a lot of music we pushing out right now, man.
Are you still accepting stuff for the radio shows?
I'm accepting
Music?
everything. I got to have a lengthy conversation with Eddie after this. I got some ideas. I'm accepting any and everything.
All right, so everybody out there who be tweeting me, everybody who's tweeting,
it's for independent radio. I'm doing one show for straight indie. So if you're indie, send me anything. I'm gonna listen to it. Send it to me.
So for everybody who tweets me every day and DMs me, I'm gonna forward it right over to Rec One, and the same thing with Eddie. Those are the two brothers. If you're indie, these are the two brothers you need to get with to talk with. Vern, now that's the indie hip hop. Portia's who you get with if you want to talk about Troy. Jace is low, Philly, Jordans, any type of fashion. Vern, Portia, you're Troy, and don't ask her about Drake because that sends her into a bad mood. It's literally like
I literally get tagged in every single possible Drake.
Here's the funny thing.
Fucking everything.
Here's the funny thing, Portia. Me and Nate were watching Gremlins the other night, and I thought about you because I'm like, yo, you're like feeding a gremlin after midnight. If people bring up Drake, like you become Stripe. Like literally, it was like you become Stripe. You go from being Gizmo. Porsche don't curse, don't say nothing. Then like you bring up Drake, and it's like this nigga Stripe right now. Like so, like Rakim said, after 12, I'm worse than a gremlin. That's Porsche.
I love my followers because they I'm gonna go in on this guy for being such a dork cornball. But I can't, like, I wake up at 6 a.m. after I do my morning routine. I look at my Twitter, and the first goddamn face I see is this bozo face with a heart, like, etched into his hair.
Yeah, the heart did it for me. The heart. Yeah, I can't do the heart part. I don't know what that sounds like a bad dare that you just have to renege on. But now, so you got all that. Vern is the person who, if you are in ATL or in Georgia and you want to get a house, this man is selling houses in a pandemic. I don't know how you do it, Vern, but every day on your IG, it's like 8 niggas buying houses during a pandemic. I don't even know how you move in a pandemic, but if you want a house, this is the man you need to get at. Vern, where can they get at you, man?
On Instagram at V the Loan Closer, on Twitter at V Chandler 10.
All right, no doubt. You already know what it is with me. Kill 889 Twitter, IG. We'll make beats for food. I will check y'all next week, good peoples.
Take care.
All right, y'all.
Yo,